There's the warning about the live stream. Just let the internet do its thing. This is where you get to enjoy looking at my blank face as I go to the books and post the links. We are now live with our all right, so that got posted. I'm coming back. And I'm going to share my screen. Is that what I want to do? All right. Okay. Hi, folks. Can you hear me okay? Great. I've got some head nods. Probably going to see a little box here. Welcome to, welcome to our first Bancroft PTO meeting for the school year 2021-22. My name is Vipal. I'm this year's president. You've probably seen a bunch of emails or posts from me. I'm sorry. But I am very excited about sharing news to you all. And many of you, many at our school are new faces. So I'm excited to get in front of the new faces. So we're gonna just do a quick overview. Here's our agenda for the day. Just some welcome comments. I know I've got some timestamps there. We're gonna try and hold to those timestamps. So we might have to cut folks off as we move along, depending on how the conversation goes. But just to sort of be fair to everyone, we'll try to stick to that. We really don't want to use 15 minutes of welcome comments, so that's where I'm going to buy back time. But I did want to sort of just let folks ease into this meeting as it's the first of the year. So this is what we've got coming up. I did want to point out toward the end there, re-envisioning Bancroft PTO. The idea, frankly, was as we go through current business and talk about what we've got in front of us, I am excited for all the new faces, for the folks coming from other schools who might have their own experiences that they can bring to Bancroft. And perhaps that helps us sort of redefine or re-envision things that we could be trying and doing here. Certainly we at Bancroft, this is I'm into my third year at school. My son's in second grade. So I have that as an experience to fall back on. I understand there's some institutional things, but of course we are open to fresh perspectives and new ideas. And then election of open leadership roles. That's what I'm really excited about. So Justin, I know, will be smiling when he and I have a few more hands at the wheel. And as we go, I see some smiling faces. Thank you very much. Just throw in chat if you've got any questions or unmute your mic. I'm certainly, being that this is Zoom only, we do want this to be a nice, robust discussion. So we've got a couple of different avenues. I did want to point out, just for any new faces in our meeting, Farewell Family Fun Fest. So I'm working our way backwards through the calendar here, but I just wanted to show you what Bancroft is like, what our community is like. And I know we have changed in terms of what makes up our community, but surely we hope the spirit is still here. We held a family fun fest to close out our year last year. The school put on a great event, and PTO volunteered and got involved. This was book sale right here. We had food truck come on by. There were lots of art supplies that were donated. Sorry, not book sale. Those were free books that were distributed, first of all, so that the kids had stuff for the summer. And then art supplies and project supplies were distributed. And we had a karate demonstration, and we had a field full of events that the kids got to do. And we had a band come in and play. So it was a good time. And it was great to be able to see everyone live for the first time in a long time. I know another thing that we worked on at the school, because we didn't have a yearbook, building and maintaining our school community was an important thing for us. And we did that a variety of ways throughout the school year when we were all distant. And we kept it up when half the school or 60% of the school came back in person. But we didn't have a yearbook. for obvious reasons. And so we worked on a memory book instead and designed and solicited photos. So this is one of the designs this was Michelle's design. Michelle, you're on the line here. I think I saw your name pop in. And we tried to be representative of the community that makes up our school. And we did this was one of the grade 3 layouts that Alicia had done. And photos submitted by parents and photos submitted by teachers. This was a grade 2 layout. My son looked at it and goes, "What is that?" I said, "Well, that's a B. Isn't it obvious? It looks like an 8." I said, "Okay, well, thank you, art critic." This was my design, in case you're wondering. And then from the before times, I just wanted to give you a sense from the before times. When pandemic.
Paul?
Yeah.
I think there's a gray, I don't think it's on my screen. I think there's a gray box, maybe on your screen if you're screen sharing, covering some stuff up.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you for pointing that out. I forgot about that part. From the before times, this was when we could gather, and I know we'll have a discussion about what is possible for in-person events, but this was Math Literacy Night back in 2019. This was my first year at the school. There's my son and my wife right there. Snuck a photo. This was Turkey Bingo, which was, and I'm hoping will be continuing to be a big event for our community. And we can talk about that in the coming meetings. And this was a workshop during CDD. And mostly I had this photo in here just to sort of represent that our parents are engaged and they like to participate. And certainly they were very participatory and engaged during the whole CDD process. And they came together and they met and they talked and discussed and they collaborated. We've got this coming up. This is a photo from the book sale that this year will occur over conferences. It was held in the Media Center. I think we'll be talking about how the book sale might occur this time around, but I wanted to bring that up from the before times. So having said that, moving through here, just a quick welcome, everyone. Bancroft PTO, I'm not going to read too much of what this is. You can kind of read it on your own. We do try to, our primary goal, our primary activities, I suppose, are what's listed here. If you sort of think about it, there is an overarching view. We're here for the students, we're here for the parents, we're here for the teachers, we're here for the school. And how do we do that? And a good chunk of how we do that is listed here. The field trip fund, I do want to mention that we receive a donation annually from Cataract Number 2 Masonic Lodge. And our role is to disperse of those funds as the teachers put their programming together for those field trips. We also then fundraise on our own and to cover funding requests from the teachers for things that they need in the classrooms or things that they need for student experiences that might not be covered by the district. We organize and we try to amass our volunteer. I keep saying volunteer army. I try not to say army so much, but our massive volunteers is the other thing that we do organizationally. And we have some landmark events that we do. And fall is kind of they come in quick succession. And I know we will be discussing this later on. How can we do some of these that were in person before? So moving on to the treasurer's update, just to give folks a sense here in the meeting, this is where we're at from a financial standpoint. We operate we operate entirely out of the checking account, savings account. We don't touch. I know that predates my time on the PTO, but a good chunk of that comes from the time when the school was undergoing renovation and there's some extra fundraising done related to the playground that we now have. You can see that our past revenue and expenses, our revenue primarily made up of donations because we did not get a chance to do much fundraising during the pandemic, clearly, but we still had expenses which kind of fell in range with what they normally are, but the types of expenses had changed. We did a lot of distance learning support. The memory book was certainly a good chunk of change, and so were the t-shirts. And so, as you know, the t-shirts were one of the means that we sort of helped drum up and continue to do to raise community spirit. The idea that we all had a memento, a symbol of what brings us together. And so I'm going to turn this over to Justin, who is our treasurer this year, particularly as we discuss what's our projected budget for the year based on what what he's laid out as our projected intake and our projected outtake, which falls in line with what it's been most years. Up here, we do have a link, and I'll make this available on our different communication means, a more detailed spreadsheet. But Justin, go ahead and take it away, if you wouldn't mind.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I'm Justin. I've got a third grader at Bancroft in Miss Nelson's class. And I am the incoming treasurer. So you may notice that the projection there that I put up, these numbers are of course subject to change. This is kind of just an estimate. And I wanted to be really conservative on what our revenue is going to be this year. I wasn't sure, how things were going to be, particularly coming out of the pandemic. So I just was really cautious in estimating what our income sources were. And there's a few to call out just really quickly. One is Spiritware. Spiritware has been one that we've done in the past that we've made some money by selling yard signs and t-shirts and other little doodads. So it can make some money, but I figured I'd estimate low because we gave out t-shirts at the beginning of this year. We gave out t-shirts as well at the end of last year too for to outgoing students. And so people are probably pretty flush right now on t-shirts. So I don't know how much we'll sell. And then also we've kind of in the past too, just given away Spiritware at times too during events. So I don't want to use that as a really big source of funds. So I kind of grossly underestimated that one. And then I overestimated some expenses too. And one that I know that we have that we won't have necessarily in the future was, again, the t-shirts that we bought just to welcome in. We had so many changes with the CDD, so many new students coming in that we thought would be a great idea to just welcome students in with the t-shirt to, inspire some school spirit there. And that was a significant cost that just happened right away at the beginning of the year that we probably won't see much in future years. So I'm not really too worried about that cost. Another one is $4,500 for headsets. A number of years ago, we had approved giving headsets to teachers so that students would have those to use in class when they're doing activities that require audio. And the idea was that there'd be a 10% replacement cost on the $4,500 year after year. But we had, of course, COVID last year. So what we did is we spent more than the 10% because we sent home headsets for kids as well as a part of the distance learning. And then with the changeover in teachers and staff, I'm not really sure what our exact count is on headsets right now. So hoping that number is going to be quite a bit lower as we find some still with teachers that are still with us at Bancroft, and maybe there's just some that are laying around. So again, overall, I overestimated costs, I'm hoping, and underestimated what our potential revenue is going to be for the year, just to be safe. And it comes out, we're just about $5,000 over what our revenues will be in terms of costs. And I think that's pretty much in line with how things have gone in past years. So as an adjustment year, I don't feel that that's too big a deal. Overall, we have about $60,000 cash on hand, and we're in good financial shape. So that's pretty much it. If there's any other questions, I'd be happy to entertain those.
And so thanks, Justin, for that. So let me just go quickly to notes. Yeah, so yep, Diego, we certainly can do introductions. Thank you for putting that in the chat. I think what we intended from a meeting standpoint was there is some time that we've set aside later on for a big group discussion. That was the re-envisioning thing, and I was hoping to use that as an introduction time. We just wanted to get through some of the business of the day, so to speak, before we moved into introductions, but we will get there. Thank you for that. Any other questions for Justin or questions about the treasurer's report? We would like to put this to a vote for folks just to, and I know you haven't had time really to sit on it, but mostly to acknowledge that it's a functioning budget. And as you know, PTO is not a deliberative body. It's not necessarily entirely representative either. It's the groups of parents that want to get together, that have the ability to get together. And so we take just a majority vote. There really isn't a quorum, a majority vote of who's present. And over Zoom, we do that via chat. So just any questions before we just throw this to a vote? Any other questions or comments? All right. Seeing none, if folks wouldn't mind, a 1 is a vote for yes, a 2 is a vote for no. The question is, will Bancroft PTO accept the treasurer's report for September 2021 as the start of our school year? Just go ahead and throw in chat a 1 or a 2, please. Great. We have enough votes that takes us to majority, which I will accept. So thanks very much, Justin. I appreciate that. And this link to the report will be put online, folks to peruse at their leisure. Okay, so having, let me get rid of this little window. So current business. We're fall plant sale ended last night. This was our first ever online only fundraiser. Normally our plant sale is a spring event and it's a big deal. Kimberly Sinclair and Justin spearhead this. And so Kimberly, I saw you online there. If you wouldn't mind, how did our plant sale go?
I'll handle that one.
Okay, sounds good.
She's around, but she's otherwise occupied. We made about $650 net profit on the fall plant sale for our first time ever, with limited amount of ability to sort of get the word out, I guess, prior to school starting, and having such a tight window between when students were coming in and when the end of the time to order was. I think we did pretty well. I mean, I thought it went pretty well. It's a pretty slick system. We still have some questions and some issues to talk to the plant supplier about, just in regards to perhaps streamlining the process if we're going to do that in the spring. But I thought it overall went pretty well. The only other thing is that I'm not fully convinced we can move just to just a web fundraiser for this spring. I think there's just issues of equity there. I just think some people just don't have access, might not understand. It's so much easier to send home a piece of carbon paper with kids for in order form. You know, people get that in the backpacks, and then they have that in hand, and I think it just reaches more people. So this may be a component of the next. The online component may be a part of the spring plant sale, but I don't think it'll be solely the only component there. So that being said, yep, we made about $650. Last night, midnight was the deadline for orders. We got some right before that. And yeah, so now plants will be showing up on September 25th at 8 a.m. We would like to get a volunteer or two if people can show up at Bancroft at 8 a.m. on Saturday, September 25th to help. That's when the truck's getting there with all the plants. There's somewhere just over 100 plants. So what we want to do is organize those into the various orders. There's about 30 or so orders, 36 total orders. And we'll just order them. So then when people come, they can just say, I'm so-and-so. You'd be like, okay, if you have your receipt, that's great. If you have your email receipt, but here's your order, boom, and it'll all be organized. So an additional person besides myself and Kimberly would be great, or two, just at least just for an hour, just to get all the plants sorted out. That'd be great. So, and pickup will go from 9 o'clock that day to noon. So yeah, so if there's anybody that wants to volunteer, that'd be great. We'll take your name down and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, Justin, and Kimberly. Out of curiosity, if anyone on the meeting now was one of the ones who were purchased, would you like to say a couple of words about what the experience was like? Any feedback from the folks in the meeting about the online only sale? And I do second Justin's comment that we won't be online only in the spring. Certainly, we'll still have the traditional component. But any comments regarding the sale?
I lose every piece of paper that comes into the house. So the online sale was actually nice for me because I would have lost a piece of paper.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm glued to my phone, so I'm the same way. If it's a Google form, it's going to happen. Great. I posted in chat. Just a reminder, this is our email. If folks wanted to throw in chat that they were interested or available to volunteer. Otherwise, we certainly, for the folks watching this via live stream and or watching this in the on-demand version, we would love to hear from you if you've got time on the 25th. All right, thank you, Justin. Moving along, and Diego, this is going to probably require some input from you because this may, whether or not we're doing in person or how we might navigate in person. But Readathon and the book sale fundraiser is coming up here in the middle of October. It'll come right after our October PTO meeting, so we do have some time to organize volunteers. But just as a quick overview, I don't know if Nicole is in the meeting right now. Quick check. I don't think so. So I'm just going to sort of give a quick update for folks. Readathon, it's Nicole Infinity, who has been with PTO for some time, at least because she predates me, so that pretty much means some time. This has been one of the projects that she spearheads. And it's where we send sheets home in backpacks with the kids, and that's how the kids have the sheets to sort of record what their reading is and to solicit sponsorships from friends and family for the reading that they do. And if they hit certain milestones, they get certain prizes. And it's just kind of a nice, big, friendly, competitive to do that encourages them to read more. And the money that we raise from the Readathon goes towards buying more books to give away for free so that kids just have books at home. And typically it's a 2-week period, and this is the date for this year. So one of the questions to you, Diego, is without Linda Doro, I'm actually not too clear how we arrange for things like stuff into backpacks and getting forms into the hands of the teachers. And so that is a question, the logistics of that. And then in terms of the book sale fundraiser for the folks here, so concurrent to the Readathon, we have a book sale. It's one of the local bookstores. Nicole is also spearheading that. And folks come in. Typically, they would come into the media center. The kids would peruse the books, make a purchase right there online, take the books home. And it's during conferences when families are coming in anyway. So the second question, Diego, is how do you envision that portion of this, or what are the things we need to be thinking about? And then largely for everyone else on this call, on this meeting, we would love volunteers to stuff backpacks, if that's part of the thing, volunteers to help with the book sale fundraiser. The parents are the ones that sort of staff the book sale. So that's what we're looking for in terms of help folks. And then plus just the general encouragement. But having said all that, Diego, the floor is yours if you want to sort of talk a little bit about what in-person events might mean.
Thanks, B. Paul. I guess first I just want to introduce myself too, because there might be families and parents and caregivers that might not even know who I am. But I just want to say welcome. My name is Diego DePaz, and I'm the principal, the proud principal of Bancroft Elementary School. I guess I would love everyone to introduce themselves. I know there's some time for that in a little bit, but I guess I'll get to the question. One thing I've learned in the last 18, 19 months is how everything can be changed at a moment's notice. and how we need to be flexible and really practice and show grace to each other and have some patience. So at this moment in time, I don't know what in-person things will look like. I mean, when we started school, or when I returned back in August, we were looking at having all of our meetings in person and having PTO and site council and everything happening. And clearly now we're on a virtual screen to make sure that we're keeping each other healthy and safe and, away from the Delta variant and making sure that we can continue having open school. And so I would love to say we can have it in person. I think come conferences in a month, we'll probably most likely have some sort of hybrid model. I know for any meeting, we need to offer some sort of virtual option for families who are either health or immunocompromised or don't feel comfortable coming into a school building. And so we'll practice some of those pieces, make sure that we offer a virtual option. So I think it's a good question to raise of whether we can do a virtual readathon, if parents or caregivers can purchase some of the books online. I think that's something we can look into, but at this moment in time on September, 13th at 5:45, I'm saying that we're going to have some sort of hybrid conference opportunity. And so we'll have some books for sale available here at school, and then hopefully we can do some sort of online piece.
Cool. Thank you, Diego. Open the floor to folks. If folks have any questions regarding this, when you ask your question or make your comment, you can certainly introduce yourself to the rest of us here. We did a virtual readathon last year that we could sort of resurrect as an idea. It would be I actually, and Nicole would know better than I how successful that was. But I guess that brings up the other question: how logistically, because I'm so used to working through Linda, Diego, how would that sort of work, regardless of whether it was in person or all online?
Yeah, no, good question. I forgot that part. So I would say you're looking at them. It's either myself or Brianna at this time. I think a lot of folks know that the CDD had some significant impacts on a lot of schools. Bancroft was not excluded from that. And so, part of the context of our building is we had to cut almost $2 million out of our budget. And our family liaison happened to be one of those associate educators that was accessed in the spring. And so right now it's Brianna and myself that will be the contact people to try and do any of those pieces.
And I know things are subject to change, but volunteers are permitted currently to campus, masked and all that with following the protocol. So there would be possibility to arrange for volunteer work if it's needed and if it's possible.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. Well, so to the folks on the call here, what Nicole is looking for organizationally, she's in a pretty good place, but she would love help coordinating volunteers. And so we would love to know if any of you who are here now are interested in being part of readathon's the readathon project. So part of that is coordinating volunteers for when all the forms come back and they're returned. There's a lot of that's the big paperwork, tracking who's read what was raised and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of volunteer work sort of needed on the back end of this. And then there's the volunteer work just for helping either produce the flyers or get them into backpacks and whatnot. And then if book sale is able to occur in person in some fashion, we would need volunteers to organize the books, bring the books in, and then help sell the books, assuming that there is an in-person component to conferences. So any questions about this, or would anyone want to throw into chat right away that they're interested in being part of that list? We could at least keep you in mind. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Yeah, so Michelle just posted in chat that she can help produce flyers and anything else. That's great. Michelle was one of the ones with the memory book last year. So designs were great from her. Anyone else have any comments or questions about that? About a book sale and or readathon?
Hi, this is Robin Anderson. I have children in 1st and 3rd grade, and I'd definitely be interested in helping out.
Great. Thank you, Robin. That was recorded. We're going to remember that. Nice to meet you. And Justin, thank you. Yep. And we will also be posting more information to our Facebook and through the email list. And we now have our PTO website is now updated. I just got edit access, so we can now make that more current. So we'll use that as another info nexus. Okay, just
I'm happy to, I'm going to jump into, I'm happy to help on the coordinating side, probably not the flyer side, but the, looking at forms and things. My name's Joanne. I have 2 new kindergartners at Bancroft. They were at High Five last year, but it's our first big year being involved.
okay, great. Thank you, Joanne. Nice meeting you. I wonder if we sometimes ride the bus together on Bloomington F because you look familiar.
Yes, I do ride Bloomington back when I was working downtown.
Right. Oh, there we go. Okay, rock and roll. Okay, well,
It's been
nice
a
to-
while.
yeah, it's been a while.
Nice
It's been a
to
while.
see you.
Yeah, it's like all these community. I for everyone that commuted to work. I mean, all these bus communities were broken up in pandemic with everything else that got broken up. So it's kind of nice to see somebody from that number 14, or it might have been. Yeah.
Well, with High Five, we weren't sure if we'd be able to continue at Bancroft. So now that we know we're here for 6 years, count us in.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay. Any other comments or volunteers? And chat.
Deepak, can I just jump in real quick? Sorry,
for it,
I thought I
Brianna.
was ready to talk and then I wasn't. There we go. Hey everybody, I'm Brianna Nichols. I'm the assistant principal at Bancroft. I was thinking about, the question how we no longer have our family liaison, and Mr. DePaz and myself have become kind of that person. I think one of the things that will be helpful in that for us would be if there's somebody from PTO that can take on a couple of those pieces. So I think before it was maybe, we send something and then to Linda, and then she would print it and get it through all the teachers' mailboxes and all those pieces. So if we print it, but even if there's somebody who's like, oh, sure, I can come and check the mailboxes and make sure that system's in place, or I can stuff the amount of, we can give list numbers and say if there's 25 kids in one classroom, they could come through and just divvy those up into each classroom. Kind of that piece of things could definitely be helpful on the coordination side of things with this specifically, but other pieces that happen as well.
Yeah, no, that's great, Brianna. Thank you. Thank you for that comment. And that's totally true. I remember my wife and I came in to do, I forget what we volunteered for, but that's how we discovered the faculty lounge. And that was right before we decided we needed to do something about it. But anyway, we were there for a project that Linda was sort of coordinating. So I think that would be great as another opportunity for parents to sort of be involved. If designing a flyer isn't your thing, and if managing paperwork or doing some number crunching isn't your thing, but stuffing envelopes or putting them into mailboxes, that's certainly something. I think that maybe Brianna and Diego, once we get our slate of PTO leadership roles filled here, we can sort of figure out who could be a point person for that kind of thing, and that could certainly be a leadership role thing.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to, unless there's any other comments, I am going to move on to real quickly, math literacy night. And so, the dates that you may have seen a date from me, and it's not correct. It was on the district website. So it's a TBD. Math literacy night is was in the before times, the first kind of family involvement night. That's my memory. Oh yeah, those are good questions. Okay, let me round. I see there's something in chat that certainly is something we will be discussing. But anyway, Diego, would you mind or Brianna, is a math literacy night sort of in the works as something we just don't know the format, or is it, or the question is truly this: if we cannot have in person, does that mean we will not do a math literacy night, or is there an idea of working through a hybrid version of it? I'm not really sure how we want to sort of work through family involvement nights this year. And I understand at 6 o'clock on September 13, things are iffy.
Yep. And so I'll just go back again. Everything is fluid, and we are planning on having some sort of family events. I mean, if you looked at our turkey bingo pictures or have been to our roller garden night, we have 400 plus people that come to that, and we cannot host 400 plus people safely in any of our spaces, whether we're vaccinated, masked, practicing 3 feet of social distancing. It's just not not possible. And so we are looking at ways, and that's why this year we also even had our open house be divided into two halves of the alphabet. And so make sure that we didn't have every single person come and not have them all together, so we could try and keep some distance.
Okay.
So my plan is to try and have some sort of family gathering, family events. Maybe we're online, maybe we're virtual, maybe some of it's in person. I don't really know. And so I think part of it is just seeing what our guidance comes out of. Brianna and I looked at the COVID dashboard today, and I think we're up to 30 plus cases per, I think it's at 10,000. And last year, I think when we hit 50, we were going to distance learning. And so there's lots of just pieces still up in the air. But would I love to have my families come into the building? Absolutely. Would I love to have our families gather online like we're doing now? Absolutely. And so there's definitely a plan in the works to make something happen that way.
Sounds good. Thank you, Diego. And yeah, I think the guidance that from my perspective, the guidance I'm looking for is this the kind of thing that we sort of should keep on the back of our minds, or does asking about it just stress you out more? And we certainly don't want to stress you out any more than you probably are. So
no, it's one of those situations where I don't have an answer. And so I can't say, yep, we're doing it this way if this happens, or we're doing it this way if that happens. And so I think for me, it's, as a school and as a group, just kind of being as creative as we can to try and include as many people as we can. And so I think that's, kind of the pieces we started talking about this morning. We're on the 4th day of school. And so we're trying to also, get that first week wrapped up and then start looking ahead to those bigger pieces.
Right. Great. Thank you. And then before I get to there are a couple of comments, but I do want to just sort of note to folks, Family Directory, my goal is to have a version of it released by a week from, next week. So 9/20 or so. Basically it's just shared to those that joined, and we'll continue to solicit if other folks want to join. So just keep an eye out for that, for an email specifically to the folks that are in the directory. It won't be part of the general email pool. It will be only to the folks that are in the directory. Let me just roll back a little bit to the chat. I think, oh yeah, that was from Justin. Yeah, okay. I think those questions will probably come. Let's see, what's my next slide? Hey, look at the timing of that thing. My next slide was the update. Principal DePaz. So, Diego, you have the floor. And then as you can see, there's a couple of questions in chat and the timing was perfect. It's like we planned this or something.
Do I have more than 15 minutes, Paul?
You can. We will make that.
I might take 17.
Oh boy. Now you're asking for too much.
All right. Well, anyways, again, I want to say good evening and thank you to all the families and parents and caregivers that have joined us tonight. There are some staff members on this call, and so I'm going to have them introduce themselves too, because they play a huge role in what we do every day. But my name is Diego DePaz, and I am the principal here at Bancroft. I'm fortunate to be on my 7th year in the building. And so I've been here as the assistant principal for 3 years, and now this is my 4th year as the principal. I survived through the construction project. One of our students was talking about how we don't have very many trees today at recess. And I say we have about 100 more trees than we had before the construction project. I think we had maybe 1 or 2. So then that made him a little bit happier. But so I've been here since then. Before that, I was an assistant principal at Whittier for a year. And then I was a teacher, mostly 3rd grade and 5th grade in Bloomington Public Schools for 13 years. So I'm on year, I believe it's 22 in education, which sounds absolutely crazy because I'm only 32. So that's amazing. No, but I'm very proud to lead this amazing school, this amazing staff. I know this year it's been a little, I guess, it's an opportunity. I was going to say it's been a little challenging. It hasn't really been challenging. It's an opportunity for us to get to know new families and new students. As you know, we definitely were impacted here at Bancroft by the CDD. We were a magnet school, and now we've become a community school. And so with that, we did lose some funding and some enrollment. I spoke to it a little bit earlier. We had to cut almost $2 million out of our budget. And usually in schools, money equals people. And so There were 17 licensed staff that were accessed and had to find different jobs in Minneapolis. There were also 7 non-licensed staff that were accessed and had to find different jobs in Minneapolis. And so I'm fortunate that we have a really good returning group of licensed teachers and licensed staff. We were able to hire some SEAs and support staff for our ASD program, and then just feel very fortunate to welcome all of our new families and new students. And I usually pride myself on knowing, 99% of the names and faces in my building, whether it's 500 or 550 kids. Now there's only 410 names to learn, but I pride myself on that, and I'm working on it very hard. I know my staff is always wonders how I do it, but I cram all the kids' names and faces into my brain, and whether they're wearing a mask or not, I try to remember them all. And so I pride myself on that, and hopefully that will help smooth out our dismissal procedures and all those pieces. But I'm happy for everyone to be here. A couple of questions that did pop up in the chat. Newsletters, we used to do them twice a month. I think this year we'll move to once a month newsletters where we just share all of the information and highlight our learner profile pieces and any IB things that are happening in classrooms. And so that will be in our newsletters. There's more opportunities also for families to be involved. I know PTO is one way. We also have Coffee, Tea, and IB, which happens usually on the first Friday of the month. We do have a Coffee, Tea, and IB upcoming on this Friday, September 17th. And right now, again, unfortunately, we are going to do it virtually and not in person. And we're going to aim for 10 in the morning. And it will be online, and I'll be sending a Google Meet link out to families. That'll be up on our website too, for families to join that meeting. Usually it's an opportunity to learn a little bit more about IB, learn a little bit more about what our students are doing, and have our students share their learning. It's kind of a place to highlight and showcase student learning. I also forgot that I said I was going to introduce the staff that are on this call. So I'll take a pause. I know I'm well into my 15 minutes. I'll let Ms. Nichols introduce herself, and then I know Sue and Lisa are here also.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brianna Nichols. I am the assistant principal at Bancroft. This is my 4th year working with Mr. DePaz and the whole Bancroft staff. I live very close by. I live right off of 38th in Portland, so it's really fun to be working and being in the neighborhood where I see so many of our kids outside of school as well. I think that's about it. I don't need to share my whole bio, but I'll pass it along to Sue and Lisa. I'm excited to welcome all of our new families and families that have been here already and continue to build our community as we move forward. So go ahead, Miss Sue.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sue Francis. I'm the IB coordinator. I started at Bancroft when we started to become an IB World School. So that was about 11 or 12 years ago now. Very excited to meet lots of new kids in the last 4 days. It's been such a pleasure to greet families in the morning as they're coming in. We are just getting started on getting our program up and running this year, and you'll hear more about units of inquiry and what's happening with our IB work as the year progresses. But we are focusing right now as a community on the learner profile attribute of caring. How can you show caring throughout the day? So you might hear your kids, I hope you hear your kids talking about that. Yeah, so say hi in the halls, and I'm happy to talk about IB at any time, and all things Bancroft actually. So, okay, Lisa.
Hi, welcome everyone. Lisa Hartman, and I work with math, and I'm also the differentiation specialist, and then other assigned duties. So I do a whole bunch of different things. But if you have questions about differentiation or challenging students or kids needing extra help, then classroom teachers go to first. Otherwise, I'm also a really good resource and always willing to help. So welcome. We're super glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you, Brianna. Thank you, Sue and Lisa. I know people have probably overheard the phrase, teamwork makes the dream work, but I really couldn't do it without the support of Sue, Lisa, and Brianna for sure. So I appreciate you guys and appreciate what you bring to Bancroft. So as I was saying, Coffee, Tea, and IB is another way for families and caregivers to be involved. We also, in addition to PTO, we have site council. And site council is a little different than PTO. I would say that PTO is more of plays a support role and what can we do for the school. And then site council is more of an influencer, you know, when we're looking at curriculum, when we're looking at decisions, when we're looking at budget and those things when it comes around in the springtime, that's where the site council plays a role. And we will have our first site council meeting will also be virtual and it'll be on October 8th. We are going to aim for the last Monday of the month. I know October 8th is not the last Monday of September, but we also be able to do our State of the Schools presentation at that time too. And so we'll have that piece come up. And because we are turning into or becoming a community school, there's going to be some work around you know, relooking at our mission and vision and our belief statements because we do have a lot of new members to our community. And so that'll be a lot of the work that Site Council will continue doing. And I see a question in the chat about a timeline for determining if Bancroft continues to be IB. And I hope that's in a positive way because we do get to continue to be an IB school and provide the IB PYP programming. And we have been an IB school and will continue to be an IB school to have a pathway to all of the middle schools. So it's currently Bancroft, Whittier, and they just Loring in North Minneapolis is now going to be an IB school. And so all of the middle schools will now include the middle years program. And so we have now a pathway for all the middle schools from, you know, the kind of east side, west side, and north side. So yeah, Sarah, we get to continue to be an IB PYP school, which is really great, I think. Let's see. Yeah, and I would just to say I'm really proud of all of our students, new and old and returning. I think we've gotten off to just a really great start to the school year. You know, every day we're always about getting better. And so we have that growth mindset that, you know, everything is an opportunity to learn and to grow. And so I know things are not like perfect, like how I want them to be, but we'll get there eventually. And every day is an opportunity to grow and get better at what we do. You know, my number one priority is just the safety of students and that they come and enjoy their time at school. And so that's kind of what we're working on now is, you know, getting everybody settled into their rituals and routines. You know, about 55 to 60% of our students and families are brand new to the school. And so just learning the dismissal routine and the arrival routine and, you know, where's the bathroom? We don't even know where the bathrooms are. And so just trying to explicitly teach all of those pieces to our students and make sure that we all get settled into our routines and everyone's feeling included and part of our community. And so that's, you know, we're 4 days in, our kindergartners and high fivers are 2 days in. They had their first day today is what somebody called it. And so it's just exciting always to start a school year. And then we always forget how it goes, you know, in a few months and we're just moving on and everyone's, you know, where they're supposed to be and doing what they're supposed to do. So I'm really excited to just get started and get moving. And Brianna, I don't know if you want to add anything or if I missed anything.
I think you covered most of it. The one thing I was thinking of just saying was thank you all for your patience with the transportation. We know that this is not ideal and we continue to do our best to get the information as soon as possible to us and then get it out to families as soon as possible too. And so we're crossing our fingers that things will really settle out and we'll get, the district will have enough drivers sooner than later and things will start to run more smooth. So we really appreciate your flexibility and know that it is not easy. And so we are, well, just a thank you, I guess, on that.
Yeah, no, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, we've at Bancroft now, we've we've gone from 10 buses down to 3 buses, but we've had 1 bus that has not shown since the first day of school to bring kids home. And so I think that's what Brianna is speaking to. And going from 10 buses down to 3 buses means also we've had a larger influx of kids getting picked up by family and caregivers. And so I appreciate your patience too, as we iron out those wrinkles and get everybody into a rhythm with the parent pickup and the caregiver pickup.
Great. Thank you, Diego, and all et al. And all. I did want to. We're gonna bleed a little bit into your 17 minutes, or add to your 17 minutes. I think just to communicate 2 things. One was, is there any way from a COVID prep standpoint that PTO can be supportive or can help out? That's A. And then B, regarding the transportation issue, I know at other schools there are things like walking trains and bike trains being organized. And I know, well, I don't know because I never partook of this in 2019, but is there a way for PTO to sort of help with that? Or do you foresee some, how can we be useful to you in that regard? I feel like those are the 2 things that are more in our bucket than anything that else we're dealing with.
Yeah, I guess I can answer or address both of them. I would say that right now, I think organically, because we are now a community school, there are, I think, some walking school buses or walking groups. We have one, we call it the W16, because I think most of the students are on 16th Avenue. And so I think there's 8 or 9 students that go together and leave the school with one of the adults. And Brianna's done a nice job of coordinating with families to make that happen. And so I think it's kind of organically come up too. If there's something that PTO wants to support from a different, part of the rectangle that's our attendance zone, I think that could be helpful. And then I did see the question or the comment about resources. And at this point, I would say Minneapolis Public Schools has done a really nice job of utilizing funds to get those resources. I mean, we have masks and gloves and all adult sizes, kid sizes masks. Because of our construction project, we already had an updated air filtration system. They did change all the filters to MERV 14 filters. They've tested all the rooms, and we have the proper air exchanges. I think all of our rooms are 6 to 7 air exchanges per hour. We have one, we call it the illness room. So if there is a COVID case of a student in school, they go to the illness room. That room does have one of the big portable HEPA filters to make sure that it's filtered there. And so I think as far as those pieces, I think we're in very good shape, and Minneapolis Public Schools has done a nice job of getting those resources to the building.
Great. All right. Thank you.
And if there's any other questions, feel free. I'm open to feedback. I'm open to questions, and I appreciate it all, because like I said, I try to practice what we preach and act on our beliefs that, I have a growth mindset too, and I'm not going to get it right every single time. And so I do appreciate open conversation and discussing how we can all do better for all of our students at Bancroft.
Great. Thank you, Diego. Moving on. So one of the things I remember fondly from my first PTO meeting in 2019 was a Post-it note exercise that we did. We all were in person. We wrote on Post-it notes things we were interested in, and then we sort of discussed in group. Now, we don't quite have the wherewithal to pull off that kind of thing, but I am going to put up a whiteboard. I'm going to share a whiteboard that everyone should have the ability to type in something that you're, sorry.
Could we, it looks like some people are starting to log off. Could we, before we start brainstorming, is it possible for us to introduce ourselves?
Okay, sure. Let's go for it. So why don't we do,
People are starting to log off.
I'm going to pivot, and rather than do the whiteboard, let's have every person introduce themselves and then talk about what they would like to see of PTO this year. Like what do you bring with you? What are you interested in seeing us do, and what direction should we go in? And I'm going to just leave the floor open. Who would like to go first? Michelle, would you like to go first? Or was that you that called me?
Sure. Yeah. I just noticed a couple people on the chat were starting to log off. So I just wanted to make sure we got to do it before more people had to leave. So hi, I'm Michelle. This is our second year at Bancroft. I've got a first grader in Ms. Lewis's classroom, and we are just super happy to be at the school. I'm interested in basically I'm a designer, so I'm interested in making stuff and making it look pretty and doing flyers and memory book and basically anything that needs to be designed is what I can do. And and then I'm also interested in, I'm happy to help with if anybody wants to work on a walking school bus for kind of by 40th in Chicago, but coming from that direction. So that's about it. Can I just call on the next person who shows up head on my screen? Yeah. All right, Justin, you're the next person that shows up as a head on my screen.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Again, I'm Justin. I'm the treasurer. I'm a third grader, and we've been at Bancroft since our kiddo was in kindergarten. So now it's our fourth year, I guess. An idea that I've had for a long time that I think I want to get working on this year is to do like an Earth Day cleanup. I think it typically happens on a weekend. I don't know if it's a particular date in the spring, but I think it's on a weekend, normally like a Saturday. But I was hoping to organize people come to like pick up trash around the school grounds and stuff like that. You know, there's always a lot of trash after the snow melts in the spring. And so that was one of the things I had to do. And then I kind of like envision that being as one task starting out, you know, a sort of an environmental committee. And then that might lead to, you know, something like a garden or a learning garden or something like that on school grounds. I know that was an idea that one of our teachers, our kindergarten teachers that sadly had to leave us, Ms. Kira, had come up with a number of years back. But I'd like to see something like that get going too. So yep, that's about it. And let's see, I did everybody's faces back here. I will go with Carissa.
Hi, I'm Carissa. This is my daughter Tilda. She's in high five, brand new to Bancroft, and also new to the neighborhood. I don't have anything in mind. I'm just interested in learning more and being a part of the community. Thanks. And I'll pass it to Robin.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Robin Anderson. I have a third grader in Miss Kennard's room and a first grader in Miss Ramgren's room. I'm still remembering all the names. We're new to Bancroft. We were at Northrop. We're very excited to be at the school that's closest to us. And I live on 16th. Been involved in some of the conversations around the walking school bus. So certainly our block of family members has advice to offer for anybody else who wants in on that information. And Justin, that idea for the Earth Day cleanup sounds right up my alley with my family. We often do litter walks in the neighborhood. So we've got some good pickers going on and, you know, always carry a bucket around and pick up garbage. So we're happy to join you in that in the spring. All right. And next.
All right, sorry, Robin, I'm going to comment quickly.
Oh,
sorry
yeah.
to bust in here. But so
That's
Justin, we do have, I know you're on the opposite side of our school, but on the 13th Avenue side, we do have the new planters. We have 3 planters.
I saw those.
We grew our own tomatoes and we grew some other things. And so Miss Kira's idea did come to fruition. And we do have 3 beautiful planters on the 13th Avenue side. And so we can definitely have a garden club and have people harvest and plant and do all those pieces. So I'm all for it.
Nice.
All right, thank you, Robin, for letting me interrupt.
No, it's perfect. It's good. Okay, I think Kate, if they are available, Kate is next on my list.
Hi, I'm Kate. I have 2 kids at Bancroft. I have a 4th grader and a kindergartner, and we've been there since my 4th grader was in 1st grade. So my 4th year. So we're really grateful to continue at Bancroft. We love it. And yeah, I'm happy to be involved in any way. I also have like a ton going on in my life. So I'm like a little cautious to like overcommit, but if there are like specific things that I can, sign up for or do, I absolutely will. And my husband has kind of been involved on and off and is often available for translation to Spanish. Like either of us could do that, but he's really skilled at it. And so keep us in mind for that if that's ever needed at an event or meeting. And I just also wanted to shout out to, I think it was you, Paul, that organized the play dates as we came up to the school year. Those were really great. And I'd love like other opportunities to connect with families, especially since so many folks are new. But that just helped my daughter connect with some kids in her class and get excited for kindergarten. I know when my son was in kindergarten, he went to Emerson, and we organized just with our class, like a picnic, a family picnic outside in the park. And so, maybe that's something maybe towards the end of the year that we could do by grade level, but it was a nice way to connect with other families and welcome new families into this school. So I'd be happy to help organize that. I don't know if we could pull it off before it gets too cold, but otherwise we could maybe wait till spring. But if anyone else is interested in that, I'm happy to support. So nice meeting you all. Oh, and let's see, Michelle went. Did Michelle go? Okay, let's see. Danielle?
Yeah, hi. My name is Danielle. I have a first grader in Miss Rangren's room. We are new to this school. We came over from Northwood. And I don't have anything specific. I'm just happy to be here and be part of the community, and yeah, happy to help with whatever. Let's see. Has Sarah gone?
Ooh, Sarah, are you out there? Hold on, I gotta bring up my participants list. Sarah. There we go. Hi, Sarah.
Sarah, I don't think your audio is working.
You can chat it. Sarah was secretary 2 years ago when I was on Bancroft, 2019, 2020.
Sarah has a fourth grader who's very lovely, and they've been here since first grade. And her daughter wanted to set up a meeting with me to talk about all the suggestions that she has for Bancroft. So I know her daughter very well.
Cool. Let's see. I'm taking a quick look here at who else is on the list. I'm going to go next just to keep the flow going. My name is Vipal. I've got a second grader, Miss Zimmerman's class. This is our third year at the school. We started kindergarten. And one of the things I'm really interested in us doing are family cultural event nights, or some way to represent in the different communities that make up our school. And whether that's a family cultural event night or whether that's a way of promoting the different cultures as a project idea in the classrooms, and it just gets worked into the classrooms as an art project or some other kind of project. And then the kids sort of showcase that out in the cafeteria, and then the families come and take a look at them. I mean, that's a very basic notion, but that was something that was in the works sort of in 2019, and given the way 2020 went, it would be nice to sort of re-engage with the community that way. And now I'm going to call out Morgan. Are you on?
Hi, I'm Morgan Pauldron, and I have a first grader in Miss Lee's class and a fourth grader in Miss Firster's class. And we are new to Bancroft. We were at Dowling before, and I'm actually really excited to be at Bancroft because it's so much closer. We live at Powderhorn, and so although we love Dowling, it was definitely a long haul. And so I'm hoping, I like this idea of the play I also have a work conflict with the afternoon bus, so I just found out about these walking school buses. And so I'm hoping that maybe we can create another walking bus. We're over on 30th and Elliott, though, so we're kind of on the other side of, the park. And my first grade daughter has been begging for an Earth Day cleanup, so I know she's going to be very excited to participate in that one. So I don't have any other ideas, but I'm certainly happy to participate in any way that I can, and just really happy to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. Who would you like to call out next?
Oh, I am not sure who hasn't gone yet. So, is there anybody that hasn't gone that wants to go?
There's together or together.
Oh, okay. Together or
The chat, I think the chat said that they're not in a spot where they can go live,
Okay.
but there's an introduction in the chat.
Has anybody else not gone that would like to just pop in? Because
I think that's actually everybody.
yeah.
All right.
And I like the Earth Day cleanup. Every day is Earth Day, so I think we can not just wait until the spring to do some cleaning up. I think I do some cleaning up every morning, and so it's great to have an amazing park, but it also gets used a lot. And so we could use an Earth Day cleanup every day around our grounds.
Yeah, hold on. Great. Okay. Well, thank you very much for the introductions, and certainly, though I'll acknowledge my resistance to leading with them, but certainly maybe I've learned my lesson. Maybe next time we should lead. So having said that, the last item on the agenda to sort of get to, and I'm glad that there are still folks here, maybe these are the hardcore folks, we are looking to fill leadership roles. We are looking to fill the vice president or co-president role. It's been co-president for the last couple of years, but and that particular role, it's apart from sharing great ideas and volunteering everywhere, the vice president role helps manage the teacher requests. So that's kind of the main crux of that role, managing the paperwork and just sort of helping keep track of those things. We're also looking for a secretary role for minutes of the meeting and keeping our documents straight and gathering paperwork from the folks that we need paperwork from, or from the vendors, or from whoever we're interfacing with. We're looking for a communication chair to help with our social media and our email blasts and any kind of design work. And we're also looking for what's called an at-large member. That's new to the council, or to the PTO. But I enjoyed the idea of it because I was essentially an at-large member in 2019. I didn't have a portfolio. I just came around, and they kept inviting me, letting me into the meetings. So at that point, then it was like, okay, just let them in. So the at-large is really someone who's looking to be involved, doesn't have a specific portfolio, and is kind of a utility, can sort of fit in as needed. So having said that, are there folks who would right now just put their name down and want to be vice president, secretary, communication chair, or an at-large member? Thanks, Lisa, for being in. And seeing that we have to sort of really keep the doors shut for the onslaught of folks running into volunteer. Are there any questions about the roles that might help clarify anything, or anyone that's looking for getting their feet wet in PTO? And certainly, it's not the kind of thing that is, if you've got the time to be involved and coming out to the meetings, it's just maybe another extra meeting in between meetings to sort of arrange for things. This is one of those moments that they teach you in journalism school. If you stop talking, the awkward pause will just have people start talking. Kate, that would be great. That would be great. You can also convince yourself, Kate.
he has more spare time than I do right now. So I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna put it on him. But
That's
maybe
fine.
maybe we can share the responsibility. But I'll check in with him and then we'll follow up.
All right, totally fine. I will take that as a possible maybe.
Okay.
Leading strongly on the yes side of things. Certainly, it can be a shared role. It certainly can be a shared role.
Paul, Michelle wanted to know a little bit more about the communications role.
Oh,
I don't know if you
yeah,
want to
sure.
describe that.
So the communication role is outward facing. We have a Facebook page that we would love, to have posts on and to engage. We have our Facebook group, which is a subset of that page. And I think we need some clarification on the group, the role of the group versus the role of the page. And the page is really outward blast. Whether or not you know about us, here's our information. And then the group, its intention had been a place for parents to chat. And I think we just need a little bit better management of that. Email blasts are certainly a thing. Now, I am able to, write emails and do postings as well. So it's not going to be 100% on someone else's shoulders. All of this can certainly be shared, but that's communications. And given your design background, I think it would be a much more visual thing than it has been in the past couple of years. Does that help? Does that clarify? I think
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's definitely something I can help out with, but it would be nice to share. It'd be nice to share some of the load.
Well, absolutely. Can I talk you into? We will split it because I don't know if I can yet give up my attachment to the email and the Facebook page, but it is I totally understand it's much for one. So if you'll commit to communications chair, I'll commit to splitting it with you, and we could just tag team the different projects.
That sounds great. And I can do I can admin the Facebook group and make stuff pretty, make flyers pretty some of the physical stuff. Perfect.
Great. Okay, that's great. And then there were 3. This is great. And then there were 5 if I start counting Eduardo and Kate. So, anyone else have any questions about roles or interested? Robin, I think you spoke 3 times in this meeting, so that kind of counts you as volunteering for something?
I like your style, V. Paul. Nice job calling me out on that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's the folks that are here are engaged, and I like to engage back somehow. So yeah, do you have any questions about any of the roles?
What's left on the list? What do you got?
Well, so there's the secretary role, there's the vice president, co-president role, secretary role and communications chair. I know there's a nebulousness to it, but the vice president or / co-president role, the key there is helping us just keep track, sort of being the point person for teacher requests. And what that means is we have a request process. It's a Google form. The teachers have a need in the classroom. The school can't provide it. It comes to us. We discuss it at a meeting and we approve. Some of that stuff is just done at the leadership level, meaning the 5 or 6 of us just approve it as needed. But then some of the bigger stuff might go to the full PTO. So, so those are the ones that are out there. There's also the at large, which I'm guessing might be a Kate Eduardo thing. So secretary or vice president, co-president, maybe?
Well, I really like the idea of supporting the teachers. I think there's just so much in my heart knowing what teachers have gone through with the pandemic, just in addition to all that they already give to schools. And so that speaks to me as where I could be most useful in helping them get what they need from our group. So, I mean, I think that sounds like something I would like to help with in that regard.
Okay, no, I'll take that as something. So why don't we'll put you down and we can certainly email to confirm. For all of you who are voicing, I'm not really trying to sell you ShamWow stuff at the Minnesota State Fair, even though I sound like it. But I am appreciative of the fact that you're voicing an interest, and we'll discuss it offline further. But vice president, co-president role, supporting the teachers a little more directly or being involved. Robin, I think we'll just earmark and see how that can slot into the rest of the stuff that you have to do with the rest of life. Yeah, does that sound fair?
That sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We've got the secretary role to fill. If anyone else out there has an interest, I think there's Danielle, Morgan. Sarah, you were already, and your mic is not working anyway, so I won't call on you. Okay, having said that, and considering where we're at, yeah, no, absolutely, Sarah, I totally get it. No worries, I'm just sort of poking a little fun there. We are at 10 before, so without a robust election process, we have bought back 10 minutes of time. With the folks that have sort of communicated here, I'll get with you online via email and just figure out how that stuff works. Does anyone else have any interest in sharing anything at all? Stuff that they did at their old school, stuff that they did at this school that maybe we need to follow up on. You saw the whiteboard that I've got going on here. I'm certainly going to use it as not necessarily a mandate so much as a guide to what next things might be in addition to what's already on our plate. Let me just look at this chat real quick.
One thing I popped in the chat was, and I don't know if this is a PTO thing or what, but one thing that I've noticed that might be helpful is if they're having somebody available to help with crossing on 39th at 13th and maybe 14th. I think a lot of people are using 39th as a through street now, and there aren't stop signs on 13th. And so we've had a couple of close calls already, and I imagine other people probably have as well.
Yeah, I saw that in the chat. That was actually one of my plus ones over it. So I'm going to put this right here as sort of the walking school bus plus kind of crossing help. I think what this list is going to do for me is do an email blast and see what the interest is generally among our email list. And while folks are as we're winding down here, I do also want to mention. So we've got our next meeting is the second Monday in October, and at that point we'll have a better sense of whether or not of our involvement in math literacy night, or if there's a family involvement that month, as well as book sale. After that, there's possibility for turkey bingo, which is another big effort for us, and then we go into spirit wear as a fundraiser. But one of the things Nicole mentioned, and I think this has been true for the past PTOs, we always have a really solidly booked fall, but spring tends to be a little light. And so for folks that are watching the recording and folks that are here in the room right now, ideas for what to do in the middle of winter and as we enter the spring for projects, for engagement opportunities, for ways to sort of get families together, whether it's virtual or in person. We lost our roller skating nights because the roller skating rink is no longer a roller skating rink. So certainly that might be something that is worth replacing somehow. So I want to plant that idea to the folks that are in this meeting, but mostly for the folks that really lovingly watch these recordings time and time again, if they have ideas for the midwinter to late into spring. Are there any other comments as I say that? All right, I will give back 8 minutes of your evening, folks. Thank you very much for your participation. Staff that are still here, thank you. I appreciate the time.
Well, I have one last housekeeping question to ask.
Go for it, yeah.
Could I get somebody, I don't know, Diego, Brianna, how do we do the headphone counts before? Back years ago when we took a initial, I know there was a spreadsheet for it on the shared drive. But all the teachers' names would have to be changed and updated, and then, just get a count on how many we might have and then how many we might need. And then also, I wanted to put on people's minds maybe to talk about next time, like recess equipment for the field. I know recess is being handled now. We have classes switch off. One day they'll be in the field, and the other day they'll be on the playground. And I don't think there's much to do right now on the field as far as things to do. So maybe getting some, like, I don't know, Nerf soccer balls or hula hoops or whatever it could be that we could use just for kids to play around with out there. So those are my two things.
Yeah, no, I can, I already forgot the first one, but I can address both those things. So we have plenty of, right now we have plenty of recess. Headphones. Okay, yeah, I'll get back to that one. We have plenty of recess equipment. It's just a matter of somebody bringing the barrel out, but there's jump ropes in there. I was playing soccer today with the 5th graders. So we have basketballs, we have the little scoop things that we can bring out to. So we definitely have equipment for them to be utilizing on the field or on the blacktop. And then the headphones, I know that, so my understanding is that PTO already purchased headphones for us at the end of last school year to replace the ones that we distributed during our full year of distance learning, because we wanted to make sure kids all had access to those. There were some kids working together with kids, so we distributed all of our headphones, or a majority of them. PTO, I believe, already replaced many of them. And I know Ms. Werner sent out a Google Doc to all of our staff, right before we came back with students, and tried to get an account. So we have that documentation somewhere right now. And all the teachers wrote down how many headphones they had or how many they needed. And so I don't think there's much more at all that needs to be purchased in regards to headphones. And Brianna, you can also correct me if I'm wrong. I know you have a little.
We'll see if she's quiet. She keeps telling me it's my turn to say something, so we'll see. There is a lot of headphones that are brand new that I just saw today that are in boxes in like our tech room. And so I guess I would be surprised if there's a need to purchase more, similar to what Mr. Paz said, but there are boxes of brand new headphones. So I think it's more about us just
getting them to the classrooms.
Exactly. Understanding how many each teacher needs.
Yep. Yeah, so I feel like PTO has played their part, so thank you. And now it's our role and our part to get them to where they need to be. And I think that's what our inventory sheet was for.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
I'll also just mention that we do have crossing guards that will be starting, and Ms. Finney has done that in the past. And so we have with our older students, with our older students have helped with that. We do have, though, like if there is somebody or a couple people from the PTO, I think it would be okay if they wanted to borrow some of that gear, right? To kind of assist with that until we get rolling, just to help with that safety. So if there is anybody who would want to assist with that, to connect with Mr. DePaz and myself, and I'm sure that we could get you set up. Sorry, Diego, I didn't clear that with you, but I feel like that would be fairly easy.
And Michelle's right. I mean, 39th has become a little bit busier now. And so I think that would be a good place. I know on 38th, we have the flashing lights and the walking symbol that comes up on the corner of 38th and 14th. And then 38th and 13th has the stop sign itself, or stop lights itself. And so, yeah, 39th might be a good place to set up shop with some sort of crossing guard.
So is it a fair statement? We'll reach out to folks who are interested in helping out, and then they can reach out to you for the gear and just a quick instruction about what the safety measures are. All right. So yeah, we certainly put that out as part of the update from this meeting, since it's a little more immediate.
Thank you.
All right. Any other quick ones? I was offering you back 8 minutes, but it looks like staff took away.
I have a quick question from a COVID. This is a totally kind of unrelated, but the headphones, just from a COVID perspective, are they going to be shared with the kids, or are the kids each going to get their own pair of headphones? So we're going to go with quantity and with COVID and stuff, what the plan is for those.
Yeah, we can talk more about that as a whole staff, but what happened before is they would be each kid would get their own. They were in a plastic bag, and each kid has their own Chromebook or iPad that they bring back and forth, or will bring back and forth. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But yeah, they can have their own set of headphones. Like they can put a piece of tape on it with their name, or put it in a plastic, gallon Ziploc with their name written on it in a Sharpie.
Great. Thank you for that question, Michelle. Okay. All right. So if nothing else, I'm going to move to close here. We don't really do motions to close, but thank you very much for coming on out. We'll put out an announcement. We'll work on family directory. We'll get some crossing guard help, and we'll see where we're at for the book readathon and book sale. Thanks, folks. Have a good night. Stay safe.
Yep. Thanks everyone for your support of Bancroft School. We appreciate you, and we're glad you're here.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you.